Hey guys, it's Brooke with Super Tutor TV, and today I'm going to share with you 3 of my must-know formulas for the SAT Math section. Before we get going, I want to encourage all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you have to do is click subscribe below this video. And the other thing that I want to tell you guys about is that we have an awesome new full online prep series for the ACT, the best ACT prep course ever. It's available now at supertutortv.com. Go check it out. Go subscribe if you guys are prepping for the ACT. It's all the secrets that I share with my private students. And we have full explanations for 8 exams. And finally, even if you're not taking the ACT or you're taking the SAT, I recommend that you subscribe to our mailing list. That's where you will find any special offers that we have on our prep course or any other notifications of new resources that we have, new videos that we have going on, and how you can keep plugged in. So that is at supertutortv.com/subscribe. And let's get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, not necessarily, I know I said that there were 3 must-know formulas. I'm actually going to go through 3 categories of formulas that you need to know, which are the formulas that most of my students, if I have like a big tip for them, these are the ones that we end up hitting most often or going over most often. So these are the ones that people most miss. It doesn't mean that these are the only formulas that are going to help you on this exam. There are others too, but these are the big ones that either people often don't know, but are really good to know, or it's just like a good tip for you to have a handle on. So the first kind of formula that we're going to get into are circle sector formulas. Let's just review a little bit. What the heck is a circle sector? Well, a circle sector is like a piece of a circle that looks like a pie piece, right? So it's like this kind of a thing, yeah? So the arc length of a sector is going to always be pi over 360 times 2 pi r. Again, it's like a ratio, right? It's like whatever portion of the circle fractionally we're covering out of 360, we multiply that times this. And what is this, everybody? This is the circumference formula. Do you guys see that? That's just the circumference formula, yeah? And then it's the same idea with area of a sector. You take the whole area of the circle, this is the whole area, right? And you multiply that whole area by theta over 360, or whatever your degree measure is, over 360. And it's the portion that we take up of the whole circle, that fractional portion over 360 tells us the fraction that it is, and then we multiply by the whole area. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to quickly go over the radians version, which is super easy. If we know the measure in radians, the arc length in the area of a sector are actually even easier because it's a really simple formula. So let's say theta is 1/2 in radians. Okay, I'm just drawing a little angle here. Let's pretend that this is 1/2 in radians, and then I need to figure out what is the arc length right here, right? Well, then all I do is plug into this formula, which is theta times the radius. So let's say the radius of this is 5, right? Then my sector right here, this little blue piece, is just going to be 1/2 times 5. It's literally that easy. It's 2.5. And then I can also do this one here, right? If I want to find the area of this, it's 1/2 r squared theta. So r squared is 25 here, so that would be 25 over 2 times 1/2, because, right, I said theta was 1/2, and I said r equals 5. So then this is just 25 over 4 is the area. So I can have this circle sector, again, the circle sector that I made up. I just said r equals 2 and theta equals 1/2. These are the 2 parameters I made up, and then I can solve that out. It's just applying the formula. So I realize that this probably is a little bit confusing when you see a new formula. So the best thing to do is just practice it. If you guys want to practice this formula, what I recommend you do is go to Khan Academy. There's 2 areas in Khan Academy I recommend you check out. It's this angles, arc lengths, and trig functions. I'm just in the SAT, and then I'm on math here. Angles, arc lengths, and trig functions, and then the other one is circle theorems. So if you want to practice this stuff, this is the place to go. Do you see how we've got this? There's some circle theorems in here too, but you're going to find that both of these come into play, the arc length and the arc of a sector. So 4 formulas to know, all within the realm of circle sectors. We're going to move on to vertex formula fun. These are vertex-related formulas or ideas related to finding a vertex of a parabola. So the first thing that I want to tell you guys is the x value of a vertex when we have a quadratic equation in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. we can use these ideas to find the x value of the vertex. And why would this be interesting? Well, this is interesting for the kinds of problems that you can practice on Khan Academy that are parabola stuff. And where is that? That is if you go in here and you go to polynomial factors and graphs, that's some of it, and quadratic and exponential word problems. So I can click on this. This is a perfect question to talk about these. We have Dahlia tosses a ball to Kaylee. The ball travels along a path of a parabola and reaches a maximum height of 10 feet above the ground after traveling a horizontal distance of 5 feet. So what happens there is we're seeing it goes to a maximum of 10 feet above the ground after going 5 feet over. So that means this point is 5, 10. Do you see how that's my vertex? Exactly, because this problem describes essentially a vertex. The vertex is the maximum or the minimum value, yes? And maximum and minimum always is referring to our y value, by the way. And the x value is just the other thing. So here we know that all of these in this particular problem are in vertex form. But if they weren't in vertex form and they were in this form, well, heck, how would we do this? Well, here's how we would do this. If I know the x value of the vertex is the opposite of b over 2a, I could back solve all of my equations if they were in this form and try to see which ones gave me 5. Then I could plug 5 in and make sure that the equation gave me 10. It might be a little bit faster than plugging stuff in. But in any case, if I know what this is, let's say we had 4x squared plus 2x plus 3, I could find the x value of the vertex of this by doing b is 2, right? And then I would be negative 2 over 2 times 4, which would be negative 1/4, okay? So that would be negative 1/4 is the x value of the vertex. So if I wanted to find the vertex of this, I actually could plug this into this equation and solve for y. You guys see that? I could solve for y, and then I would have the full vertex. I can also find the vertex by finding the average of the zeros. Here's what I mean by that. If I know that a parabola has zeros at -1 and let's say 3, I know that the reflection will be equal on both sides of the line that's halfway between these. So I can average these two numbers, 3 minus 1 divided by 2, right? I'm just averaging 3 and -1. And I get 2 over 2, which is 1. And so I know that this goes through a line of symmetry at 1. That means the vertex also goes through 1. So this is also the x value of the vertex. So you can always find the x value of the vertex either with this little formula, negative b over 2a, or by averaging the zeros, okay? And finally, the last way that you should be able to know where a vertex is or how a vertex works is by knowing the standard form of a quadratic equation. And this is the standard form of quadratic equation. That's actually what I should use for this that I pulled up over here, which is just a Khan Academy problem from quadratic and exponential word problems. In this problem, we've got a bunch of explanation. We essentially see that she throws up the ball and it peaks at 10 feet after it's going a distance of 5 feet. That means my vertex is at 5, 10, because it goes across 5 and it goes up 10. So I know that there's got to be a 5 here, you get what I'm saying, and a 10 here. Well, that's true of all of these. So then we'd have to go to the next place, which is she releases the ball at an initial height of 3 feet. What does that mean? That means when I've gone over 0, I'm up 3. So 0, 3 is a point that works. So I should be able to plug in essentially 0 and then get 3 over here. Does that make sense? So I should be able to plug in 0 and then get 3 for y, which is probably one of these guys here. My point is to you guys that in order to do this and be able to do it quickly, I have to understand that h and k are my vertex when I have this form. So this is a formula you guys need to know. I realize I don't have time today to go through how to apply everything in full detail. That's why I recommend that you guys get on Khan Academy and you do a little bit more practice there. And then finally, I'm going to wrap out with the last kind of must-know formula for the SAT is all of the formulas at the beginning of the test. And you might be going, that's a cheap shot. Well, maybe it's a cheap shot, but here's why you should know all of those, because you know that you're responsible for using them. And so I recommend that all of you, if you go to the front of any of the math sections, there's these formulas here, right? I recommend that you guys memorize these, especially all of these, right? I mean, our cone, our pyramid, and our sphere, maybe those don't come up quite as often, but the rest of these, you should know them and you should know how to use them up and down. I'm not going to go through each of them, but I'm just alerting you to the fact that if you have them memorized, you're going to be able to work more quickly, work more efficiently, and get a higher score overall. Yes, they're here for you. You might think, oh, why do I need to learn them? They're right there. But if you learn them, then you're going to be able to use them more quickly, right? You're going to be able to get through this test faster. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel again, and check out all our other great videos here at Super Tutor TV, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck on the SAT.